today about how do you maintain balance. This is a theme that has come up a lot recently, and I just wanted to go live to address all of my lovely people on LinkedIn and all my other channels as well. Hello, Twitter. Hello, YouTube. The one person watching Facebook Live, hello to you as well. Today's topic, like I said, is balance. And I set a one-word intention every month and every year. In fact, for the year 2021, it's been mostly just the year intention and really digging deep into that. And this year, the one-word intention is balance. Balance. I'm not gonna lie, I have my struggles with this. I feel like every single person does, though, so it's like a natural thing. Balance is a difficult thing to maintain. It's almost like it feels like we're always attempting to have balance in life. And I think that's a good thing to work toward. I think it's important to try to find balance, to try to return to what it feels like to live a balanced life. And I have some tips and skills in order to do that. And I will share that in just a moment, but I just wanted to address balance overall and ask you guys, what do you do to maintain balance in life? Or if you're struggling with it, like I just admittedly said I have been, are you? Say it here. Are you struggling with it at all? Oh, this is such a good question. Are we talking about physical balance or a metaphor? Well, both, I guess we could talk about, because our physical body is certainly a big part of our existence. My thought was specifically as a metaphor, but in taking it to an art perspective, I feel like it really could have to do with the physical body, because physical balance, if you're a dancer or a performer, definitely has something to do with that. Oh, and you see here, you say I walk with a cane. So exactly, balance definitely would be a big part of that. What's this right here? Let's see. Proprioception. I'm not sure I know what that means. I'm about to look it up. I always learn something new from someone on my LinkedIn once I go live. Let's see. The perception or awareness of the position of the movement of the body. Interesting. Very interesting. I had no idea. Oh, the pictures are cool. There's someone in crow pose for yoga. And see, this is something that's very relevant to my life. I didn't know that word. Thank you for teaching me that. This is a Brain Injury Awareness Month. See, this is so good to know. Thank you for bringing this up. Understanding of body and space this is so fascinating. Thank you for sharing that. And now I got a new word in my vocabulary. Your favorite word. That's so cool. It only shows me that you're a LinkedIn user. What's your name? I'll find it on LinkedIn and message you, but I'm wondering. You're welcome. Thank you very much. See, this is something I didn't even think of, but physical balance is definitely a challenge for many. The physical body we take for granted whenever we are able-bodied, but it's definitely true that it's something that we must be more mindful of as we continue moving forward in inclusivity in those ways. So thank you for bringing that up. Seriously. And it's interesting because for me, maintaining balance as a metaphor actually is directly related to maintaining balance in my physical body. So I, for example, do a lot of yoga and I do a lot of dance. I'm a performer as well as a visual artist. So a big part of my existence is making sure I take a big chunk of time focusing on that specifically. Anthony Tack. Did I say it right? My friend's last name is the same as yours, and he goes by Patak, so I don't know if you pronounce the P. Brain cancer survivor. Thank God you're with us. I'm so glad to hear that. Yes, and so I understand why you're wanting to, share that it's Brain Injury Awareness Month as well. So I imagine that's posed challenges, but it sounds like you've got your ways to maintain balance within it. I love Qigong. Oh my gosh. Yes. It's been a while since I've started my day with a little bit of Qigong, so I'm going to do that tomorrow morning. I'm glad that you said that. Polish word for bird. How cool. I didn't know that. I'm going to have to text Brandon now. I know what your name means. That's so funny. Yes, yoga is very helpful. I don't know what Aikido is. You're teaching me all kinds of stuff over here, Anthony. Wonderful. I can say how a couple of ways that I seek to maintain balance in my organization and in my administrative roles and just in my administrative manners. In my planner, I have it color-coded by 8 various themes, and 4 of them are personal development and 4 of them are business related. And so this allows me to really focus on balancing out what I care about and what I think is important in life. And so the 4 developmental ones for personal reasons are joy. I always schedule out joy first. Gratitude. I spend a good chunk of my day and time just expressing gratitude, whether it's directly to someone or in my notebook or to myself. It's a very important thing to incorporate for me. And then growth. You know, what am I doing that's feeding me? Sometimes it's literally like I'll write out, make dinner, which is something I'm going to start doing here in a moment. Or maybe it's a course that I'm attending to be able to grow in some way or another. Meditation, and that one really should have come first because it's how I start each and every single day. But I also incorporate meditation throughout the day. So those are my 4 personal themes. And then I've got 4 for my business as well. One of them I'm doing right now. It's my live stream. And so that's definitely an important part of how I allocate my time. Another is social media in general. So anything engagement based, anything that I'm sending a message or in a clubhouse conversation, or if I'm, just overall spending time on a social media app, that goes under this category. And then there's my site or my shop where I'm maintaining in that way. And just keeping track of inventory and whatever might be pressing. And then there's freelance, which is for like my bigger projects whenever I do a large scale painting or whenever I'm working on a virtual reality universe design. Those would go into that category. So those are my 8 segments, the ways that I stay on top of myself and try to maintain the balance in the things that I care about. And having balance as my one-word intention for 2021, I've been revisiting those 8 categories every single day and planning out my time, allocating it, and delegating out other tasks which are not helping me or are not conducive to my balanced maintenance. So that's very interesting. It looks like I've got some quotes here, so I love these. Wow. Celebrate the simple things. Empathy is the bridge. Meditating is so important. Yes, 20 minutes a day at least. I've gotten to this point where I'm like, I could meditate for hours and just feel, maybe not consecutively, but like if I meditate 2 hours in one day, I'm like in my element probably. So I've just gotten so deep into it and it makes me feel so aligned. Yes, empathy is the bridge. I love that. Harmony of energy is Aikido. See, when I meditate 2 hours a day, it's Aikido all day. I don't know if I used that right, but yes, I completely understand that. That's beautiful. Oh, you like this approach? Good. I can write it. I'll write it out in the comments and make sure you get it. I need to post a picture of it actually, because I've been talking about this a lot. I feel like people would be interested in trying that out. Awareness is peaked. Yes, when meditation is exactly. Exactly. And I'm all about awareness. Awareness is pure consciousness. So it's really important to me to maintain awareness and to remain present in any moment. It's so easy to let thought and worry or concern in and to let it dictate our time, but it's definitely not worth it. It's something that once the mind kicks in and takes over control, it's like you get done with an ego trip and you're like, "Phew, I just lost hours of time, didn't I?" I feel like that's something that in the end, once it's time to pass on, it's like people never ask for or say that they wish they had more time worrying, like it's just not something that that actually helps us. It just distracts us from taking action on things that we actually could control. Yes, for real. Yes, parasympathetic. Yes, part of every day. How does time management factor for you? I'm really good with time management. At the same time, part of life for me is very spontaneous and being in a flow state. So I try to not be too strict on certain things so long as they don't impede on other people's time. I always try to make a point to respect if I've got something scheduled. I mean, granted, things happen, but if I've got something scheduled or there's a meeting, I always try to make sure I'm utilizing my time management skills very mindfully. So I'm not doing something that's rude or breaking a boundary by wasting someone else's time. That's a big, big no-no. I know that. But I might have an idea of how long something will take, and then it turns out it takes much longer. Or I just am in a flow state and don't want to move on to that next thing. And I just trust that it's going to, be in the right moment. Sometimes too, I just genuinely don't feel like I can authentically do something. And if I feel that way, I never go against my authenticity. And so that's been a big lesson as well. And time does have to do with all of that stuff because we only have so many seconds and so many hours in a day, right? So it definitely comes down to like executive decisions in a moment. Like, am I doing this or am I doing this? Because you can't do both. And if you spend time doing one thing, distracted about how you should be doing the other thing, then you're not being effective at all, are you? So it's definitely something that I try to be mindful of. In particular, like driving this home and whenever it's with other people involved, because there's nothing worse than either wasting someone's time or having someone left feeling like you don't respect them. And it's really hard to go back from something like that. Sometimes it's not even possible, unfortunately. Lord knows I've had my mistakes. Luckily, it's never been anything too irredeemable. But, being mindful of that's really important. Really, really important. Trust in your brain. Good for you. So, executive and frontal lobe. Yes, because that's making decisions, right? I use the brain in a lot of my art, actually. I find the brain to be such a fascinating. I've got all kinds of things to send you. I'll send you pictures and stuff in the DMs, Anthony, because, or at least I think it's Anthony still. It's just a LinkedIn user. Yeah, I've got a lot of work. My most recent piece was it's called Brain Dump. I basically it's a virtual reality universe, and I turned an old sketch into a VR world where it's like my body, and I'm blue and green, and I've got the brain is just like I'm holding my head by the ponytail, and the brain and the skull is just like falling out of the. Okay, good. It's still you, Anthony. Yes, the brain and the skull are falling out of the top of the head, and it cuts off right here. And this is my way of just being like turn off the thoughts, turn off the worries, turn off the mood, just be just in awareness, to just be present in a moment. And that's like my visual reminder of that. So I've got that to send you, and I've got a couple other things to send you too. Very cool. Am I aware of brain bar? I don't think so. Alignment acupuncture. I'm not sure if the way that the LinkedIn comments come in it's hard to tell the timing of what you might be commenting on, but I'm really curious to learn about what you're talking about. Acupuncture, alignment. Alignment is a huge, that might be a theme for next year or next month, because alignment is very important. Brain Bar, an annual event in Budapest, Hungary. Is this what you're talking about? Sort of South by Southwest on, okay. Tech conference, music festival. Interesting. I've never heard of this in my life. Is this still happening because of COVID, or are they doing it online this year? Is that even what you're referencing? Very curious. A social brain bar. Avoid the amygdala at all costs. At all costs. You really know your brain stuff. I mean, it totally makes sense given what you shared before. It's really interesting. Fascinating. In NYC. Oh, it's a bar. It's not even, okay. I understand what you're saying. Because there's different pictures. I'm going to be looking into this. I'm looking into it right now. Fascinating. There's a different one, virtual. All right, well, you know what? Let's talk in the DMs. I was actually only going to stay on my live for about 15 minutes talking about balance, and this has been such an interesting conversation. So thank you, Anthony. I really appreciate you. Just before I'm going to go off in just a few minutes, but it looks like I've got a few other people joining us. So if anyone else has something to say about balance, how do you maintain balance, everybody? Or are you struggling with that? Because that's what I was sharing, is that sometimes I do struggle, but I do have my ways of organizing myself. And if you're interested in learning how I organize my planner and how I manage time and in different ways in both business and personal development, the playback is available on my LinkedIn, so you can see. Please comment where you're watching from. You're smart despite your brain injury. Wow, that was hard for me to say. Social philanthropy. Of course, I would have. I mean, you're obviously very smart based off of what our conversation has been, and that's just me getting, 15 minutes of conversation with you. So, I really hope people don't assume that you're not smart because of your brain injury based off the way you said that. But it's obvious to me that you're a very bright person. And I'm sure that your experience with the injury and all of your treatment actually gave you a lot of wit based off of your life experience. So I'm glad you were able to share that with me. Let's see what you got here. You're doing a live stream for positive exposure with other people of the brain for positive exposure connects. That's a great idea. That's an awesome idea. I love that. All right. Well, once I get the message from you back and forth, you got to send me one of your live stream links so I can come and show up and support you guys. Tony Hickman and Rick Guido. Oh, I changed it. Oh, Guidotti. There you go. Thank you so much it's on Wednesday? Okay, perfect. Thank you so much for joining me and for having conversation with me. I wasn't expecting that. I just was ready to come on here and monologue. I have been changing up the format of my live stream. So it's going to be more like this from now on versus having conversation that can end up being a little bit random, although I love the conversations with people. I want to do more of those. I just want to do them one-on-one versus the live stream. I want the live stream to be very focused on talking about art and talking about my business, Art by CDK LLC, and the art of balance felt like a good way to blend those different topics. And thanks again. Thanks you for being you. That's so cute. Thank you for being you. I love that. Yes, it's important to show up as our truest selves in this world. That's what I try to do. All right, everybody. I'm super grateful for you. Thank you so much for watching, for joining me, for being such supporters. I really appreciate each one of you. You guys don't understand how much it makes me feel good to know that my message lands with people all across the world. And that's really special, you know. So thanks to each of you. And I will see you again on Thursday, 5:55 p.m. and Sunday, 5:55 p.m. Tuesday, Thursday, Sunday, 5:55 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So I'll see you then.